Yo, what's up, guys? It's King Sean here. Day removed from the loss to the Eagles in the NFC Championship. Obviously, sucks to end your season like that, and we're going to talk about that a little more in today's video. But in today's video, I will be kind of sort of reacting or talking about what the players had to say on locker cleanout day. Obviously, since we lost, today is locker cleanout day. The players cleaned out their lockers today. Some players had media scrums like Jaden Daniels and Zach Ertz and Terry McLaurin. So I will be talking about those today. Not sure if DQ is going to have a presser today. It hasn't gone live yet or anything like that. So not sure if he's going to have it today. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. But before we do, if you guys are new to my channel, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Want to start by talking about what Jaden said at his little media scrum today. He basically said what he said yesterday in his post-game presser. I mean, a loss like this just stings. It's going to sting for a while. One of the media members tried to ask him about like his rookie season, and he couldn't even answer because, I mean, yeah, the loss is still fresh. Like, losing in that manner. First off, you're one win away from the Super Bowl. No, we weren't supposed to be here, but we were here. And we were one win away from the Super Bowl, and obviously we all wanted that, right? Like, that would have been absolutely incredible. I don't need to tell y'all that, but, you know, a loss like that and losing in that manner, like, it would have been one thing if the Eagles just, you know, beat us. And I'm talking about, obviously they beat us, but, like, we beat ourselves as well. Like, we can't have 3 turnovers. We can't have all the mistakes we made yesterday, and that hasn't been us all year long. Like, we don't make those type of mistakes. Like, the last time we had more than like 2 turnovers in a game was actually versus Philly the second time we faced them, right? So I don't know why whenever we play Philly, we got a lot of turnovers. Like, I don't know why that's the case, but they are pretty good at producing turnovers, specifically fumbles, and we did fumble the ball 3 times yesterday, which we can't have. We cannot have at all. But yeah, Jaden, obviously, he's sick. Like, you could really see it on his face yesterday in his post-game presser. A loss like that sucks, bro. Like, you could tell Jaden really loves the guys, like the bond, like the brotherhood, man. Like, shout out to DQ and everybody, man, in that locker room. They established a bond, a brotherhood in that locker room, man. Like, we talk about culture. Obviously, you know, the culture joke with Bruce Allen, but it's really a dang good culture. Like, it really is, man. Like, DQ, he came in here with Adam Peters and instilled a brand new culture, a great vibe in the locker room with obviously additions like Bobby Wagner, Jaden Daniels, Frankie Louvu, a bunch of other guys as well. And those guys aren't going to be here, obviously, after this year, right? Because a lot of those guys signed one-year deals last year, and they're probably going to let some of those guys walk in free agency, which we'll talk about tomorrow. I'll make a video tomorrow about which guys I think should stay and which guys I think should walk in free agency. But yeah, man, they built a great bond, great brotherhood in that locker room. And you could tell that, you know, Jaden really cared about these guys. And, you know, losing in that manner, like, once again, it would have been one thing if it was a close loss, right? Obviously, a close loss still stings. Like, any loss stings. It's still a loss. You know, one win away from the Super Bowl loss, right? Stings. But to lose in that manner, to get blown out, like, we haven't gotten blown out since week 1 versus Tampa. And Tampa scored 37, obviously. Yesterday, the Eagles scored 55 on our heads, right? So that's just, it sucks, right? It sucks. It definitely sucks. Got to take our loss, obviously, but this one will definitely hurt or sting for a minute, right? Hurts a little less, obviously, after a good night's sleep, thinking a little bit more, but it still hurts. So definitely going to take a minute, obviously, for this feeling to go away. But yeah, that was basically Jaden's presser or media scrum. Obviously, he said he got to deal with it for quite a while heading into the offseason, but eventually, you know, you'll try and get over it, which obviously you're going to have to at some point. So that was basically Jaden's media scrum today to the media. Moving on to what other players said, starting with Terry. All these guys obviously said same thing, really, this loss hurts. Terry was asked about, like, what's different about, you know, this locker clean out day compared to years in the past. And Terry said, obviously, it's the same in terms of, not reaching your goal for the season, but it's different because we're heading into a really good direction. Like, our future is bright. Terry knows it. By the way, Terry, he might get a contract extension this offseason. We'll talk about that later on in the offseason, but yeah, he might get a little payday this offseason, so that may be cool to see, right? But yeah, he said it's different because obviously, what DQ and Adam Peters built for this team in year one, they laid down the foundation. We went 12-5, made it all the way to the conference championship. Obviously not the results we wanted, but it was a great season. We all know it, right? And, I didn't want to hear it yesterday, right? It was a great season. I didn't want to because, that loss to Philly hurt. But, after a day, after sleeping on it, like, you do got to step back, realize it was an amazing season, right? Obviously there was some ups and downs, but there were a whole lot of ups, man. And it was super, super fun. By far the most fun I've ever had watching this team as a fan, man, because this was an incredible season. And yeah, Terry basically said that, like, it's different because it was a fun season, great season, a season filled with success, and he knows that this team is heading in the right direction, right? So that's what Terry said. Zach Ertz, he said that he is not retiring, and I'm not gonna lie, one of the reporters posted a clip yesterday, I'm pretty sure it was JP Finlay, of Zach Ertz's little media scrum after the loss to Philly. It kind of sounded like, he was going to hang up his shoes. He didn't say he was going to, but by the way he was sounding, it kind of sounded like, to me, he's probably going to retire this offseason. But today, he said he's not going to retire. He said that he feels like he can keep playing. He loves playing for Cliff Kingsbury. He grew a bond back for football, or a love back for football, playing for us this year, which, you love to hear it, man. You absolutely love it. That just tells you, how much of a brotherhood, like the vibe in the locker room that Adam Peters and Dan Quinn instilled here. Like, it really shows that he loves playing with JD. He feels like him and JD just are scratching the surface for what they can do together. And I agree. Like, Zach Ertz, he had a great game yesterday. Had 11 catches, over 100 yards. He had a phenomenal season for us. Let me look up his stats real quick, but I want to say he had about 700 yards, maybe a little under that. I know he did have 7 touchdowns. So yeah, he had 654 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. Zach Ertz was really good for us this year. Great target for JD. Very reliable target for JD, man. So I would love to bring back Zach Ertz. Obviously, he's getting up there in age. He is 34 years old at this point. He's going to turn 35 later on this year, but he's such a reliable option for Jaden, right? I just would love to bring him back. Ben Sinnott, he can continue to learn and develop under Zach Ertz. I expect Sinnott to get more usage in the offense next year. We'll see if we try to upgrade at tight end this offseason, but if they decide to bring back Zach Ertz, and Zach Ertz said he wants to be back, obviously it's up to them on whether or not they want to bring him back. Obviously AP and crew, but if they want to bring him back, then he's going to be back. And me personally, I would love to bring back Zach Ertz, man, because he really was incredible for us this year, man. He was really good for us. He was really, really good for us, and I would love to bring him back. He's one of the guys I would bring back, and I'm going to talk about that in my video tomorrow. Obviously, guys that I would like to bring back and guys who I would be fine to let walk in free agency. But yeah, that is pretty much the gist of what Zach Ertz said today in his media scrum. Sam Cosmi, he talked to the media today. He's going to have ACL repair surgery tomorrow. I honestly thought he had it earlier, but he came today to clean out his locker. He's going to have ACL surgery tomorrow, so best of luck to him. I don't think Cosmi will be back until the second half of the 2025 season, so we're probably going to have to look for a replacement for him. Maybe the replacement's already on the roster. Maybe we find a left guard that is better than Nick Allegretti, and maybe we decide to put Nick Allegretti at right guard in place for Sam Cosmi until he comes back. We'll see what they do, but yeah, we're definitely going to have to find someone to replace Cosmi for the time being while he's out rehabbing from the ACL injury, right? So that is what he said today, and that's really it. Obviously, there are other players that had media scrums today, but those were really the main players I wanted to talk about. This season, once again, incredible year, man. I appreciate every single one of y'all for sticking with me on the ride. It was so good. Once again, like, the best fan experience I've had in my entire life, man. Like, this season, this team has really brought back joy into the fan base. DQ, Adam Peters, obviously Jaden Daniels, man. So I can't thank those guys enough, man, because it's fun to watch this team again, man. It really, really is. And obviously that loss yesterday still hurts. Gonna take another day or two, maybe even another week to get over it, really. But still, man, this season was absolutely incredible. And just because the season's over doesn't mean I'm going to stop uploading. Obviously, you already know the NFL season goes around all year long, really. We're entering draft season. Obviously, the Senior Bowl is this week, so I may make a video or two talking about the Senior Bowl. Like I said, draft season, so the Combine is later on in February, going into March. We also have free agency starting in March, and obviously the draft in April, right? So we're going to have a bunch of things to talk about this off season, and make sure y'all are subbed up and turn on notifications. So that is it for today's video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications, and other than that, it's King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.